High-Res Expo and Street Style, of course, just a couple of the fun things going on in the Paladins universe right now, and some really great-looking skins in that Street Style set, Gore. And we actually seen a few of the pros in the Premier League bringing out a few. The Sky skin, I think we saw rear her head a little bit, maybe the Yang skin as well, and the pros are really getting into the Street Style festivities of things.
The Sky one, I think, is the one I've seen the least, which means you need to get on it. Start playing more Sky, specifically so I can see more Sky.
Don't play more Sky because she's really annoying to play against. That's a really good thing, though. I mean, if you want to annoy the enemy team,
if you're playing against me, don't play
Sky.
No. If I'm watching the game, you can play Sky.
There you go. That's the way to look at it. Of course, we have our third set of the day now after a slugfest of a set number 2 of the day. And we have Zenith and BOORK here in the next region of the day. And let's look at the Zenith side of things first, Gore. And they're a team, much like BOORK, actually, that has had some ups and downs through the course of this split right now. And when you get the chance to play BOORK, sort of another team that's in a similar position as you really need to make the most of these matchups.
And a lot of these matchups have come down to roster swaps, positions moving around for a lot of these teams constantly, right? And trying to figure out where do we go? Who do we have this week, right? For BOORK, that was the turmoil for like 6 weeks, was just like, who are we going to be playing with? And I feel like Zenith kind of ended up in that same position, so it's similar to like all business where it's like, we have the people, we just got to move them into the right spot. Okay, everyone's here.
Right.
And now we're starting to look a little better week by week. We're going to be looking, I think, more at kind of like the front lines. I think we were just watching Ninny, and I think like that's pretty much where things are going to be maybe a little determined here. I think DPS-wise, it could go either way, but I think the front lines are going to be very high prioritized.
And I agree with you, but I have to mention, every time we have BOORK and you're on the desk, you're always wearing a shirt.
I'm always wearing a pink shirt, and I'm always sitting in front of the pink.
And it works out just so well every single time. I don't know how we do it, but
I need to stop wearing this shirt on minor league.
It's a great shirt. You should wear it every single time. Let's talk about BOORK though, in that they're a team that has really been up and down. We've seen BOORK some weeks where they're playing really, really well. They take maps off of a couple of the top 2 teams in this region, but haven't really been able to put it all together. Of course, with the standings the way they are, they'll be looking to build on to what success they've been able to find, hopefully looking forward to next split, making a bit better of a shot for him. Longshot's a guy who's come into this roster, really enjoyed playing this aggressive frontline role, making the Con look good, making the Ashe look good in this case, and a guy who BOORK will look to lean on today, of course, with the meta being the way it is. What do you see in a guy like Longshot?
I see the ability to shift a game, and again, this kind of goes back to what I was saying. I think between Longshot and all the front lines really, but I think Longshot's going to be the one on BOORK that kind of sets the pace for the game, right? And I think that's the biggest thing they have going for them. I'm interested to see how Frog is going to play as well, because Frog has been one of those very specific players that, I mean, has been a self-proclaimed EV main, has played EV very well, has a few champions in there, but I feel like is kind of like the butt of the jokes. Very much the new guy on the block that got brought in, and I was excited to see him. I'm still excited to see him as time goes on, but I want to know where he ends up, especially on a map like Ice Mines.
And one thing I thought is interesting is they always ban Frog Isle. You're not going to let Frog play on Frog Isle. I think that's just too much power coming in on that map. Of course, Amani, Atlas, Torvald, Makoa are going to be the first 4 bans here. So we've seen teams, as you mentioned, ban out the EV just entirely against Frog. So now the question becomes for Zenith, do you let it go through? Maybe you pick it up on your side as sort of a pick ban, sort of 1-2. Bomb King getting traded out, so looking like Frog will be on the Bomb King here for this one. And Genos has sort of been that interesting mix of priority, and then in some drafts he slides further down. Given what you see here, do you think Zenith go with Genos?
They should. But whether or not they will, I don't know. But that is absolutely we've seen, I'm going to pull out Virtus Pro playing like Vex on this map, have double kills, triple kills, things on Genos that have blown away the competition. So I think that is a very good pick. And I actually love the way Zenith approached this. It's a support that admittedly is high priority, and 2 front lines who are high priority in this set. And I think Khan and Ashe both kind of strip a little bit away from BOORK, from giving them a little bit more control on that. And you can kind of feel and see right now the 2 styles that these teams are going for. Zenith have an aggressive composition. The last 2 picks, no matter what, are going to be damage. And then BOORK has kind of a, we're going to sit on the point and let others maybe win this fight on the side.
Nothing but dust in the wind.
And we didn't really even talk about it all that much, but Ice Mines being the first map pick is sort of interesting in that we've only seen. I was gonna say we've only seen like one or two teams that really like going to Ice Mines. Renegades, of course, and the PPL being one of them, and then going there first here in this set as well. Pip is going to come through. A very strong pick here on Ice Mines. Lots of area for Evil Mojo to go in and make a big impact in some of these fights. Damba rounding out the BOORK lineup. What do you see here, Gore?
I think BOORK have an okay lineup, right, where it's like it's going to do its job, and the thing is it's going to be how well do they execute it, how well can they kind of bring that. Like if Bomb King and Leon just pop off, then yeah, they're going to be able to win. Whereas Zenith, it's a little bit more execution oriented, but as long as they play it well, it burns down BOORK.
And we are going to get to see how it all plays out here. First game of our third set of the day about to kick off. Let's send it down to Evan and Nick to start it off.
Thanks, guys. Rain Day Prettier here for the cast. Evan and Nick, otherwise known as in real life. No aliases allowed. Let's get into this one. Zenith, BOORK, Ice Mines. Exciting stuff. Everyone's happy about that.
2 thumbs way up.
Way up for Ice Mines. Nick is excited, and so am I. To go through this one, you just had a humdinger of a set as well. So,
Humdiddly scrumptious.
Humdiddly scrumptious.
I love it. I love it. I thrive in the bloodbath.
In the bloodbath, yeah. Well, through the chaos, one shall arise. Toa and Ozone, all of these guys trying to really get themselves going here. Frog, Vayne, he's been Frog's particularly, he's been an interesting kind of I think player to surge into prominence for BOORK.
Yeah, I like seeing a brand new face. You know what I mean? You get that every once in a while. I think Ninu, when he came through, was fairly new. Even like back to when Moonchopper burst on the scene, I thought that was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
And it's just it's something special about it. It lets you know the game is alive and healthy when you got new, fresh faces coming up. And being a big factor in some of these Tier 2 scene sets. I think another one, Playtech here for Team Zenith. Playing DPS now. Moving Ozone back to front line. That's a big adjustment. And it's these types of moments that it makes you grateful for Blue. You know, he's always got the scoop on everyone, and now we're just kind of like, who's this guy? What's his story?
Who's this guy and where's he from?
Blue!
And what was he called when he was in high school hanging out with his buddies on like Saturdays? Like Blue gives you those facts that are real fun facts, truly. 57% and counting. And as the maybe new Blue for PML is being born as we speak, Team Zenith not able to even touch the point here.
Nope, 90% to nothing at the moment. Priz loves his Leon. We'll see if he loves it as much in the next patch, which should be going live here. Maybe Wednesday or one of these Wednesdays, Leon.
Probably.
We'll see a little bit of a tone down. Playtech finds one opening kill. Starting to rotate around now, but Priz has his number.
And that was a good headshot as well. Seemed pretty confident to be able to rotate. BOORK also had control over this one, so not a bad concept here. That's really good, and the Dread Serpent is even better because it allows him to follow up on what wasn't enough damage.
Leon really can just kind of motor.
Yeah.
If you get into the swing of it, my goodness.
Rhythm.
When you're weaving in abilities, that 8 ammo lasts a pretty good amount of time. Used to have that.
She's got that ammo card now,
talent.
doesn't she?
Yeah, you can have extra bullets. Maybe it sees some more popularity. You can see a little bit of the flavor cards. I think this is still the general theme of the loadout, even after the nerf. You might see a little bit of reduction in healing for an increase in cooldown Elim CD. But all in all, I think Leon will still be about where she is now.
Eagles Emerald, interesting adjustment too, because that I believe used to be.
It's the same card, but headshots and a lot more CD per headshot.
Yeah, was it just? I think it was
shots hitting.
You know what? It was shots hitting on Valor, I believe, resetting cooldown. I'm pretty sure there was the Swift Jade Eagles Emerald.
Yeah, if you would hit a left click,
it
you
would reduce
get
the
some
cooldown.
right click to slide, slide to, you know.
Exactly. And now it's just get ammo back, which is always a good thing for Leon. Level 2 is a decent prioritization for a card like that.
Jeez, dude.
But it's clearly working out.
Chill out, bro.
Priz, absolutely.
I mean, this is his character, man. I don't know. It's nothing else I can say about it. He plays it all the time. sometimes whether it's appropriate or not, because he's just that damn good, and that's a trade-off. You know, there is always the paper matchup, and there's always how good are you in the situation? What can you pull off as a player?
54 seconds left now for the push to continue. Nice turret there. People do not kind of talk about the turret damage because it is just so common to see, but it can put you under pressure in certain circumstances, especially when you want to get out of combat just for a little bit. Most of the time not relevant, and gonna heal up there just a while before Playtech can withdraw into the clutches and finish off that kill.
Sticky bomb lands, but 24 seconds on the clock. Ice Mines is as Ice Mines does. It's gonna be a tough one to get going unless somebody cracks on the zone. Knockbacks, everything here for Ozone, and the new starting to tightening on Inara. She's in kind of an awkward spot, not really with a great line of sight on her healer either. 7-6-5-4 goes the clock. Payload is a little bit down the hill. I don't know if anyone's getting there.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that, although a great round and all that momentum. The second that things quelled, there was not a good opportunity to continue. So obviously strong plays from BOORK and Priz, but having a bit of a difficult time capitalizing on it in one of the hardest maps to push. Nice ones.
Priz not new to the phase, but I don't think I've seen this name before, so I'd call it new to the scene overall. I think he was like in, then out, and then back in for BOORK. Running into some trouble with some ex-captains. BOORK's been through a lot this season.
They sure have.
And I think
would be some good reality TV.
Yeah, they're in a good spot overall, it seems to be now. They're absolutely a better team now than they were at the start. So onward and upward for the boys.
Heavy resilience buys from BOORK. We'll see how that plays in. Toa obviously going to have that evil mojo. And things like the resilience actually have a big impact on Nini's ultimate overpower. Unless he's right by that edge, there are going to be a couple of ways you could slow it down enough to where you can actually outplay or counterplay, so to speak, that overpower. Evil mojo onto Barrick. Longshot's going to stay alive, though, and survive under the pressure.
Yeah, Resilience is a big pickup there. A lot of tertiary CC as well. We'll see if Resilience 1 is enough.
Well, maybe he just had to rush it.
I think he clipped the ground or something, or did he get killed before he launched it? Either way,
yeah.
You got stuff like the Shaolin stun, the Void Grip, Cert Dominance stun, all sorts of things that you want to try and mitigate if you can, and that hurts. That's a full King Bomb on the chin there.
And worth it. I mean, because you get the zone, you essentially secure the point with that. You know, the overpower has been used, and now you can actually start your offense, which is nice. Bomb King has high ground, so does Inara. And you look like you're going to get a couple of extra kills. I think Enlightenment there would have been a smart play, but Playtech bets on him not going into the ultimate just for a kill there, and they'll be content to set up their defense.
2:23 to get it going. Nara's already larger in charge down there, but Vayne, unfortunately, can't stay standing for too much longer on his own. Might be a slow start here to the offense once again. Zenith and everybody else for that matter playing defense on Ice Mines. If you can, you like to stay around where the point was fought over, even if the payload has already gone one way or the other. Still have natural cover, things like that. The map feels very designed around this part, like it's very intentional where things are, but in that intermediate like point fight, point payload push, that's where things are kind of open and you're like, what am I supposed to be doing here?
I like this, man. Ozone tries to save Playtech, but it's too late. Playtech already goes down, and a really good body block there is going to secure Ozone. So this is a couple of kills. Zenith have to find one, otherwise this is a very, very uncontrollable snowball, and it doesn't look like they're going to find any. Toa doing his best, but oh my goodness, somehow Playtech able to take down Frog as he's emoting.
Frog's going to get fined for that one.
Yeah, amateur mistake there.
Flagrant one on the play. Taunting, technical, get him out of here.
Exactly.
I hate to see it. I don't even know what you say.
What do you say after that?
Because that's a critical point. You want to really like keep that going. Because this is where they stalled last time, so it kind of sucks.
And it does help to then have moments like that because you don't have 5 there. You don't have a Bomb King blowing you up before. And now by the time he gets back, Priz is down. So what turns into one, turns into another, turns into another.
Plus that was like so not Frog's play. That was just like everyone killing everyone. I don't know like why you're like, ha ha, all me.
I'm the sickest.
It was me the whole time.
And now it's just they're having a bit of a reset here Dread Serpent into Seismic Crash, overlap of CC sometimes does help, especially if you can keep them in the same spot and coordinate multiple weapons on the same target, which is what they've done. Although they hit a bit of a bump in the road. They are now back in a good spot. 18 seconds left to try and capitalize on this.
15 seconds.
And my comment is that there's no chance they get those charged up before the next round. So 10 seconds on the clock. They've really kind of committed to going in and getting this one done. They don't have control of the high ground, at least on this side. Toa's just fish in a barrel at this point. Has his Evil Mojo if it comes to that.
Yeah. And that heal on the play tech was so crucial.
Nice jump.
My goodness, got a lot of air on that. But goes to the low ground. That could be bad. Enlightenment there before Toa can get the heal off. And now it is up to capitalize. You've got to find the Genos here. He almost lost track of him. Frog with a double kill. And the King Bomb may be going to be utilized. That's the Dome Shield. Not enough health yet. And it's just going to move on through. Ozone up and down. King Bomb would be useless now. Maybe a Poppy to get him out of the circle. Playtech still alive and up top.
That's the last ultimate you want to see in this situation here. That's 8 seconds of damage immunity and stall.
Man.
Team Zenith put their foot down. They use a decent amount for it. You can see the Heat Haze is down. Evil Mojo's still available versus the King Bomb. 2 control style ultimates. The only resources to play with.
Powered by INAP and Alienware, as you can see in the bottom. PML hitting set number 3 of the day. Just had a best of 5 that was going all the way. Sour team unlucky against Penta, who grabbed that one and take first place pretty concertedly, pretty effectively as well. North America here, we're seeing the battle of teams that not quite in that same position, but still battling for growth, battling with a lot of new player introductions to try and assimilate them into the lineup as best as possible.
A couple of master ridings for Zenith, none for BOORK. So Ozone and Playtech will be out to the races here. You can see them maybe looking for a stun of somebody trying to come through this little hallway, but the wall off is going to put Ozone in an awkward spot. No ultimate here. Slowed out, body block, locked down largely in the Bomb King's ring.
I am committed, he realized, and maybe not of his own will. A couple of good plays from Playtech. I've actually thought his threat on Shaolin has been quite deadly and has given a little bit of respect to what Zenith can do on the offensive side, but BOORK seem to be running away with the objective captures again and again.
I like this decision as well, realizing he's in trouble. His best bet is to probably try and catch somebody out. And skirts around and snuffs them out before it's all said and done. It's a solo ult, but gets the JD.
Nice try. He went into the back line of BOORK, trying to maybe just, like you said, survive. He does take a resource. It's just not enough. Then he has no chance onto the point. Ice Mines is being Ice Mined to the best of its ability right now. All objective captures, no pushes, long defenses.
Good start to this one. Hopefully Frog keeps his head on his shoulders here and not counting his chickens before they hatch. Is that a time and space? That was a time and space, I'm going to say. Something going quietly into that good night there. I'm not sure how Genos just gets that kill out of nowhere, but it was an ultimate. Heat Haze spent as well. Try and make sure that this payload stops in its tracks. It's kind of hit the brakes here every single time. BOORK needing
overpower.
Unfortunately, a good amount of time to figure this one out.
And they're really clear. This is the second time I've seen Priz overpowered. Maybe a little bit of luck.
Surprise!
But this is the second time Vayne in this exact moment has used a Seismic Crash to pick up multiple kills for his squad. That is a lot of value from an ultimate that does not deserve a triple kill every time it is used, but seems to be getting one.
They overlapped the Dread Serpent again. That part of their plan worked out for them last round, so it's okay that they go to it, and it's even better this time because there's more than 19 seconds left on the clock. They have a minute and 19 seconds left on the clock, so those ultimates can, would, and should be recharged in that amount of time. Ozone could lock this one down. Shoulder bashing in tells me he definitely wants to.
Okay, and he does get it. I mean, this is assert dominance, and again, at about a minute, so the only thing to note is BOORK's ults will come up before Ozone's here, but they should be up if this thing lasts for the full duration as well, as long as he can keep fighting. There's a little, looks like an unknown bogey there down, yep. It is the Aspect getting stalled out.
The stagger of time.
Yeah.
Wow. Poor Damba.
Hopefully he charged a lot of ultimate. I mean, I think he was at 44% last time I saw, so he's at about 72. off of that stagger, you got to say, was it worth as far as what you gave him?
Seconds remaining.
Time burned off the clock versus ultimate charge given away. Priz finds the first kill, coming back in like a wrecking ball. And Aspect is going to be there.
Oh, wow.
Another opening kill, and now that 78% is going to be relevant.
Yeah, I mean, and then that's 2 big kills real fast, and that's the problem. You never want to lose 2 like that and make it a 5v3, a big numbers advantage. Even if they trade, you're still 4v3. Oh, Aspect just barely makes it on. It looks like this one's going to get pushed through unless Ozone gets back to the point fast enough. They're really counting on Toa holding, but it doesn't look like that's going to sustain. It does seem like he's found a way to get that healing off. Aspect caught between healing 3 different people. I think considering that Longshot is still alive and now he's not, maybe didn't make the min-max choice. Maybe it was an unsolvable problem, but it's going to be 3-3 to finish out the game.
Well, they've gotten it going every other time in every other round. So just one more needing to put together. Playtech, the only positive member of Team Zenith right now. 7-11, 5-13, 3-10 for Nini, Toa, and Ozone. Priz starting to pull away from the pack here at 19-9, just barely neck and neck on top damage with Playtech. Not far behind him, nipping at the heels. Ultimates spent by both sides here, just slightly in favor of BOORK because I would say Maldamba ult is much easier to get value from than it is at time and space. Seismic crashes at 97% as well. Everything else for Team Zenith is about halfway charged.
And yeah, we're cruising into the 16-minute range here. One of the longer games, as well as the one that we saw beforehand to finish off that best-of-5 set on the 20-minute mark. So 2 very long games, back-to-back. And this one hopefully has a conclusion worthy of the length. Seismic crash.
Shot body block, and that's a lot of damage out onto Ozone. Shots, clutch ones missing, but teammates are there to pick up the slack.
Had to pull away from that. He realized that, man, this pip somehow staying alive. And that's some of that life steal,
Nice
some
wall.
of that healing. Good wall to really maybe force Nini into a bad spot. Priz will clean him up. BOORK now just have to zone, and they should be able to win.
Shaolin's still slithering around in the back line. Wall still 6 seconds before that's off cooldown. Watersfield might be enough to slow this one down, and now the wall's back up. This is a really good cooldown, probably the best cooldown in the game for this particular situation.
Yeah, and they've got to go through this choke, and if they get body blocked, there's really not many ways Ash can make it. There's Dread Serpent. Ozone's going to jump up, and he just angled himself a little bit to the left. Toa can't find a kill off of his Evil Mojo. No one can, and actually Frog dies.
There it is. Longshot goes down in the mines, 93 to 15. This one looks like it might be able to flip-flop. Double kill for Playtech. Gets a little bit of that cooldown back. Just goes into Planet and rips through Aspect as well.
Are you kidding me? Playtech making some big plays. If they can zone, and they should be able to. Look how far away they are, Nick. I don't know how they'll do it. What ults do they have?
Overpower. That's one. It may not even be relevant. It's like a fallback if you need it. There it is. No funny business from the King.
Are you kidding?
Nothing from Barrack, and there it is.
Wow.
Flippity-flop.
That's why people hate Ice Mines in a nutshell, because you can win all 3. Comes down to the last objective fight, and everything that you just did matters not, because they won 1 point, and they won the whole game.
That's tough. Tough to watch for sure. One moment that I was a little bit questionable about was that I was making a big deal about that wall cooldown coming back up, and before people started to really push around the corner, he threw it up
early
and just sort of like walked away from it.
Yeah.
Who knows what that have done? That was just something I noticed.
All right, well, let's send him back to the desk to break down game 1.
Why not another 4-3 to start off set number 3? That was a gore pen that hit the desk there. Zenith flipped things around. 3 straight point fight wins. 1 pen fight drop for Gore.
I wasn't even trying to do anything fancy with it. I don't know how it
He was trying to
escaped
pick
my
up the
fingers.
pen.
It escaped my clutches much like that last point fight escaped BOORK's.
That's tough, but that's why you go to Ice Mines. That's well, not always.
Well,
But that's why some teams go to Ice Mines. They say, we're potentially going to lose all 3 of the first point fights. We're going to defend 3 times and then steal back the last point fight and win the whole game. And that's exactly what happened in this one, Gore. In Zenith, I mean, despite looking like they were sort of on the back foot, looking defensive most of the game, well, they win it.
I know we're
look
watching
confused,
Playtech.
Bork. Yeah.
I'm not even confused. It's just Priz was 22-11. Like, Priz just did really well for a guy who did not win the game, and that is impressive. But I think that can be said for both sides, really, when you look at it. Playtech had a similar slash line. I don't think had quite as many kills total, but was still going to be sitting around there. The 1.9 KDA, the 118,000 damage versus, I believe it was 119 out of Priz.
Yep.
Those are the numbers that will make the big difference, and both of them were playing huge for their team. And it just came down to more moments and crucial moments coming down for Playtech at the very end. I mean, this was actually one of them where you're able to get these 2 kills. It's not just you doing all the damage, but a double kill into pressure, into zone, which was exactly what Zenith needed to just swerve that one on its head. 93% for BOORK, and it was kind of Playtech's fault they lost.
93% doesn't end up going your way. That's tough if you're BOORK. I mean, you are winning basically everything the entire game, so close to pushing it through a couple times, and then Zenith win the last point fight to find the win. So 1-0 to Zenith to start off our third set. We're going to go to Bright Marsh for game number 2. Bright Marsh has been an interesting map to watch today. Some good, some bad, sort of across the board. The last one was interesting, and that was sort of a one-sided map in favor, of Sour Team. So I'm excited to see what these two teams do here. Makoa Atlas going to start off our bans. Of course, Torvald Cassie over on the side of BOORK. Khan, pretty standard first pick here on this side.
Cassie's probably the odd one out when it comes down to looking into the bans and looking like Makoa Atlas, Torvald, those 3 have been banned a lot in the last few sets and the last few weeks. Cassie is the... Actually, in my eyes, that's sometimes a telltale sign of we're going to plan on a ruckus, potentially, and we're just going to not let you have it. Or we don't want to deal with big game, so we might be going something that it's just countered by the Cassie overall. We grab the Amani, we push you down the rabbit hole to have to go for the Leon, and if you want it, you got to grab it fast, because I think Amani is flex between kind of the players that would be your hit scan and your blaster. Either can play it, and so if you grab Amani Leon, that's viable for your composition.
But, we've seen Leon sometimes just either get banned or just completely ignored in some of these. Sometimes Shaolin has actually nudged his way in there and taken a bit of a precedence. Eevee is going to go over to Frog, so we get to see the self-proclaimed Eevee on this one. BOORK is going to get Inara, Ashe, Imani for their first 4. They'll be happy, I think, with those 2 frontliners. You give Khan over to the other side, and Barrick as well. But being able to answer back with Ashe and Inara, I think, is very good for their side.
And being able to kind of dance on this is a very good... Like, the only issue I have with BOORK's, draft here is that you kind of grab a lot early on, so you kind of reveal what you're going for, but at the same time, there's not really any hard counter immediately available. And Zenith going for the Shaolin twice in a row kind of showcases to me that maybe Playtech, one, is really good at Shaolin. We just saw that, but maybe doesn't have the same confidence on Shaolin on Leon as he has on Shaolin. And so that seems like something, because I feel like every time I've seen Playtech play in the last 2 weeks, that's where he's gone, is that Shaolin.
Well, both of those champions are definitely very rhythm-based, confidence-based, and if you're just feeling better on Shaolin,
go for it.
Exactly. It's sometimes the better route to go here. Game 1 goes the way of Zenith. BOORK need to answer back here. It's going to be Bright Marsh. Evan, Nick, how you feeling?
Loving every minute of it, Dave. Bright Marsh, the place to be, especially in the summer. You see the rays of light. They kind of live in an eternal state of sunshine, and so they know how to get down when the weather gets warm.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Don't threaten Nick with a good time.
That's right. There's a couple of statements I can leave you all with when my time here in the realm comes to an end someday, chat.
But you'll know, if it ever does come to an end, he was threatened with a good time. a great time.
I had to go have it.
He had to have it.
Somebody had to have it. May as well be me.
A man in search of a good time is, I tell you, happy man. Or until if he never finds it. Caveat to that statement, he's got to find it eventually.
I've got a good nose for a good time.
There you go. Have a good nose for a good time.
And that's it. It's not another cocaine reference, even though I made one at this exact spot on Bright Marsh yesterday.
Right.
That is
right. It is just just a metaphor. It's a euphemism for
Bright Marsh just gets me going.
Gets me going. Got a good nose for a good time. Yeah, out of context, that that could be interpreted many ways. BOORK, though, going to interpret their loss as a matter of chance. Maybe a few unlucky rolls of the dice, but fighting back for it. Frog on his signature Eevee. Looking to make an impact here.
Yep, 57% is the impact so far,
boy.
but from a distance, Playtech tracks him down, locks him in. Just a couple of arrows from the planet is all she wrote. Another kill into the bank on the long shot before falling to Aspect.
And Toa knocked off that high ground in a very crucial moment because that was pretty much, I think, an opportunity to collapse on to the Ashe there from BOORK, but alas, BOORK will retain 90%, and then he will fight as the Barrack. Oh, the rocket boots kind of gets baited out. Good wall there as well from Vayne.
99% now for BOORK. The overtime started, and a couple members feared out. Toa in the corner.
Big.
We'll see if the King stays there for long. 99%. They gotta lock this one down. They don't get the kill on Toa. They don't get the kill on anyone off that fear.
Sure, much can happen off of this. I think he's trying to wait out the stun. Unfortunately, she is going to find the final bits of damage, and so that King Bomb is going to fall flat. The Dragon flat as well, about as flat as it could be.
Dude, he did like no damage with that Dragon. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was a weird interaction. I think you can try and obviously body block as much as possible.
How could Priz be so precise with Leon and whiff so hard with the Dragon Breath?
I think he was really concerned about body blocking so he can't die, but also doing damage, which put him in a very awkward spot. I would wager.
And so he got neither.
And so he got neither. That's right. Can't be splitting ice.
Having the cake and eating it too. You left with nothing, kid. 150 on the clock now for this defense to hold, and Zenith are off to a good start as a result of dropping the Dragon out of the sky, but the payload did still go the way of BOORK when it was all said and done. 2 more ults from BOORK. Ice Storm and an Assert Dominance could get this kicked off. There's a lot of control here, folks. Frost Bomb, Assert Dominance, Ice Storm, Seismic Crash, Dread Serpent. I see resilience in the future of Team Zenith.
And there's just so much that Playtech has done outside of the current iteration of Shaolin in this meta. I mean, he's been a factor, a very big factor, almost a game changer and tide turner in these fights for Zenith. Although BOORK getting the better end on the more consistent fashion of the day, I just feel like he's somehow either, I don't know, I'm not going to give him the benefit of the doubt quite yet. I like his play, but I think that there is a quick way to solve some of this impact, and it's just to respect what he's doing on the champion a little bit more. He's kind of running wild.
Feels like he used to be a Desert Shadow player back in the day.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that mentality there, I think, shining through a little bit. And that talent getting nerfed in combination with Heat Haze getting reworked, a.k.a. nerfed in my opinion, really kind of gutted that play style, but you can still see he's like definitely trying to be a little bit reminiscent of that, getting involved in fights whenever he can as opposed to just staying passive.
Big play from Frog, too. You can see from the POV, Playtech, maybe from a sound cue or maybe just understanding the point, had no idea it was coming. So a nice pickup there onto Frog. And BOORK are going to say, no problem with that. We're just going to go ahead and take the objective. Your eyes are in the wrong spot, my friend. But Playtech here, some moments during the first round.
Yep, quick little bop. One shot from the explosive arrow for 1,300, and then 800 from the planet is going to be good. Taking down Eevee. Frog has to be careful watching his step. 5-0 for Aspect. Okay. 5 killing blows on Meldamba. You got to respect it.
That's
with 10,000 damage.
Got to respect it. Clean up crew.
High efficiency fragging.
And that's what you need. It's all about optimal pathing, optimal leveling, optimal fragging. Aspect knows. He's probably level 30 in the WoW beta by now.
Maybe. Min-maxing here, my man. He knows what he's doing. Picking up his yellow items. That sounds like a dragon.
A man in stealth already. He adds more stealth to the stealth and does not dare shoot. Does not dare because he knows that dragon is just going to show up immediately. He will die eventually, and it will get the value. Longshot ends up taking Playtech, and now they should almost assuredly kill Mini.
They will indeed. Off to the races, 42 to 15%. Long shot continuing the zone out here very effectively. Ice Storm, Cherry on top here, 72%. Nobody even within arm's reach. And they'll die for this zone.
And
Damn
they'll die for this zone. And I think Eevee gives him that wiggle room to kind of half commit there. Wow, 2 great shots. Oh my goodness, and that splitting ice for you finds the value on both. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Unfortunately, Ninny able to clean up a big kill onto Amani just as BOORK had gotten some momentum.
Think your scuffed sword is going to get away from me, brother? Hell no.
Your scuffed sword.
Not
Show me
gonna
a
lie.
real movement ability when you find one.
That's what first time I played Amani, I hit that and I was just like, oof, dude.
What is this, scuffed sword?
You know,
Get
that's
this out of
exactly
here.
what I said. I was like, dude, this is just scuffed sword. Damn it.
Oh, man. Well, she's been doing pretty well with some of the other things that she's been given. If she had Eeveesaur as well, imagine how effectively mobile she would be.
Oh, man. Hype plays.
Really fun, but
Bruno
really
Cannon
hard to
plays.
beat. Really hard to beat, that's true. Wonder how much movement speed she is running. She's probably going to die here, so bad time to try and check. But Pyretic Momentum is one of those cards that we see quite often.
One of those boys.
Man, and she's at level 4 and still pretty slow.
HPS on the glide, too.
That bad boy could be at 40%, and it would probably be an okay speed.
Yeah. It's tough, man. It's it's laughable. If you're not running
It ain't
that
for
card,
speed, yeah.
It's laughable.
It ain't for speed. It's for style.
Yep.
She's Frost Silver Surfer.
You know, when you go slow, you got to make sure that, well, when you look that good, you got to make sure you go slow
Sure,
enough
yeah.
for everybody to
Yeah.
get a good look.
Like what Lamborghini goes, you know, max speed, you know. They're cruising. What teenage kid with a Jeep, you know, doesn't slow down, roll all his windows, and play music as loud as possible?
Seconds remaining.
Well, you got the horses in the back, and you got no choice but to go slow.
Yeah, there's no way.
Maybe lean all in your bladder. I don't know.
There you go. We're trying to figure
Just
out
trying to be hip.
all the answers to life here and all the results of the BOORK versus Zenith match. You can catch them here on Mixer.com/Paladins game, where we're giving you the real information that you need to get through your day. Priz finding a kill onto Toa, and this is going to result in BOORK, you know, kind of trying to stay around. Long shot, not quite able to get there. Bit of a long shot for them to have pushed. Playtech going to clean up a semi-triple kill and put his KDA actually in a positive. The only one to do so on that side.
Priz having a pretty good day so far. Kind of the same story, you're right. Playtech, the only one positive by a small margin. So Playtech versus Priz here in the back line. BOORK with as positive as they all have been all day. It's a little surprising they're not 4-0ing, especially they're on ice mines. Like when you're looking at those slash lines.
Yeah.
Part of it is that it is ice mines. I get that.
Yep.
But objective control, presence, and that type of stuff,
Yep.
you need to be able to translate team fight wins into that.
Ton of bulldozer being prioritized by Zenith to counter out Imani's biggest strength. Yeah, it's been this continual resistance for a lot of players to all pick up Illuminate just to counter out a champion who relies so heavily on stealth in the mid-range. But it is Frog who has picked up the lone one, so unfortunately he's not available to play at this point. Nice stun there, you're right.
Oh, baby, that was nice. Gets the little kill as well. Seismic crash on a 2. Warders field wall. It is perfect lockdown from Vayne and Aspect. You got to give them all the credit in the world.
Mistimed battle shout though. Ozone could have maybe gotten the job done if saved that, but unfortunately, not going to be enough. BOORK here in a fantastic position to close the set out. Excuse me, the game out and tie this set up, and they will. Another emote from Frog.
Another one, but this one appropriately timed, I would think.
Aspect should be emoting from that Damba stun right
He
there.
had the little mastery coin poof. I don't even
Oh.
know if you can get that emote anymore.
That's a relic.
Yeah.
The mastery system
It's an
stuff.
old boy.
That's an old boy right there. Well, let's send it back to the desk. Get ready for game number 3 coming at you.
Thank you, boys. Game number 2 in the book here for Brightmarsh. BOORK answer back, and that was a 4-1. Much different from what we saw on Ice Mines. Ice Mines kind of gets ripped away from them at the last moment, and BOORK looked a lot better. Only that very narrow push not going through, but pretty flawless, I would say, for the rest of that map.
And that's, I think, the best way to word it. And the best example of it was Aspect, like the last, I don't know, 30 seconds of the game. Pretty much from the moment Aspect hits that stun onto Toa, they get the kill, and then everything from that moment on is just another perfect example of how they were executing it. And it was that into a seismic crash, into kills, into control. Like, even though, they were saying like frog emoting, and this time it was, worth it, or deserved.
Right.
It was definitely something I think that the entire team deserved. Toa did really well to fight back. Playtech did really well to fight back. But you could see Ozone Mini not quite into it. I think it was 2-10 and some other ridiculously negative slash line for the front lines there.
I mean, speaking of slash lines, this game, honestly, Vayne and Aspect arguably had better slash lines, kill and death-wise, than their damage dealers did in this one.
Vayne has a 5.0 KDA.
5.0 KDA. I think he was 7-3 or something along those lines. Either way, frontliner and healer had very positive KDAs. Normally it's like, you have a good KDA because you have a lot of assists, but in this one they had assists and kills, and that was just too much.
He killed it. That's just like, that's the only, he did. He did the thing. He did the thing, and he did the thing really well. And I think that's something that BOORK. Again, they've done that a lot.
Yeah.
That is kind of like the last 3 weeks, I guess, really have been like BOORK. If this was the team they had at the beginning of the split, they'd be a force to be reckoned with, and I think they would be tied. Like, they'd be in that first, second, third conversation. I think that rough turmoil they had for the first 6-7 weeks really hurt them, but at the same time it helped them, because you don't get to where you are now as a team unless you have to go through all of that.
Everything else that sort of molded them.
It's just
to be
like
where they are.
when they ask you, would you, if you could go back in time and change anything, would you? It's like the answer should always be no, because who you are today is because of all that.
Right.
And if you change it, who are you?
Gore, that is so
That's
deep.
Some deep questions for a Paladins minor league
That's
game
right.
3.
You thought you were tuning in for minor league. You're really getting a philosophy lesson here from Gore, and I took some notes, and I really appreciate it.
We are.
All right. I hate it. I hate whatever you're doing to me right now. I'm getting too introspective. I want to look at the drafts instead. Con Genos, normally it's one or the other. This time they get both.
I was about to go super existential, but then I'm like, no, that's too far even for me. I'm not gonna put myself in that mindset right now. We'll go too deep. But hey, it's gonna be the Genos EV Con. I'm loving what BOORK have. It works well. Warder's Gate's gonna be an interesting map to make it work. I think EV can work here, but this is one that I think is more range kind of play. I think Amani and Shaolin are really good here. Shaolin being banned out. So Amani, Leon, Cassie's available, so that means Cassie can still be picked up by BOORK. And then I think Eevee can help lock him down, but it is a very heavy, Eevee has to perform.
And that's Frogs, we mentioned it in the last game, that's sort of his self-proclaimed main champion, and he had a good game on Eevee last game, sort of maybe outshone even by the frontliner and the healer on his side, but still had a really good game by and large. Cassie is going to be the last pick here for BOORK. Damba's going to be the one to round things out for Zenith. What are you seeing on either side, Gore?
I'm honestly more interested to see what Zenith are going to be able to do. Playtech, I think I've seen play more Shaolin than pretty much any other player at this point for the minor league, and I want to know how he's going to fare when he's not on one of those champions, playing either the Imani or the Leon. I want to see where his performance is and if he can kind of keep up with, presumably, Priz on that Cassie.
Well, if BOORK play the same way they did last game, it's going to be a lot for Zenith to keep up with. We're going to have a game number 3 on deck for you guys, but first we got to see how your casters are feeling.
Feeling great, Dave. We have a Ice Mines game to start it off, and then of course, we have a nice quicker Brightmarsh game, and now we have a chance to see what it'll look like. You're right, for Playtech's champion pool now that the Shaolin has been banned.
He doesn't stand a chance.
Or was it? Did they ban his shadow?
He's a one trick.
It'd be funny if you had to pick which was the real Shaolin to ban, and if you messed up and picked his illusion, he was still available and you wasted a ban space.
Yeah, that sounds like a great mechanic.
I feel like that's a great high-level pro mechanic that's appreciated by
the game within the game
players.
within the game.
Yeah. I mean, Inception is one of my favorite movies, so.
Well, there you go.
Is this the moment you're like, wait, is Inception about gaming? Would I like it?
It's about Leonardo DiCaprio.
There you go. There you go. Ain't nothing wrong with that. 6% for BOORK. They've definitely owned about 90% of the play in this set. But that first Ice Mine Games was so tricky to actually capitalize on for them. And they ended up actually falling in the final 3-3. Continuing to start off pretty strong. Playtech on the Leon very low, and you can tell Frog wants to get the first blood, and he will. And what can they do off of that?
Kind of clustery here. A lot of people skirmishing off on their own, looking for kills here, looking for kills there. BOORK on the objective. Vayne has managed to scoop away about a 40% lead or so, and skirmishing always favors Eevee. When people aren't focus firing her down, you can use the sustain that she's got to outlast and outlive.
Yeah, Nitty underneath. It's been a rotation to the left-hand side, but fortunately Inara is not going to be able to make it out of there. It's one of the reasons I think she's less valued on a map like this, unless your composition really gives you the type of flexibility of an Eevee. It's just because she has to walk, and there's so much mid-room kind of up, down, and she can't do it fast enough. Very vulnerable. Sitting duck, so to speak. Toa just ice in the face.
Slugging.
My goodness.
Frog, very good at Eevee. Can say that for sure. He feels comfortable here. 164. Trapped behind a tree. Top back up. I can get back to karate chopping fools in the jugular, the jujudum.
It does seem like she karate chops ice towards her opponents. And who knows, maybe enough meditation, you too can throw ice as efficiently.
Shlanging it.
And right now, though, Toa is just going to...
damn, the cripple lasted long enough.
Yeah, take him out, unfortunately. And he will fall down to his death. Ozone in the Assert Dominance getting healed up as well. The shield stopping the knockback. Long shot, pressuring him out. This should be an easy one for Khan, and it is.
A couple of big boys and big girl gunning each other down on the high ground. This payload, if it moves an inch, it's going to go in. You can see these back tires about to get over the line.
Ooh,
good overpower. Seismic crash. Can't quite grab the kill on the Vayne just yet. Looks like he will scoot for now.
I'm assuming Longshot tried to throw Imani and she flew back. Because neither of them died and he overpowered her. Thinking that had to have happened. Didn't quite catch it on camera, but that is where that ultimate went from the Longshot side. So Dragon is ready. Toa trying to use it to just hold on. He's done a great job of holding this right side, and he's been flirting with the water for quite a while. 225 to his name. And through time and space here, Priz is going to take down Playtech in the chaos, and Ozone looks like he will fall soon.
Gets one last ditch heal, but Priz still manages to find the bolt connections. Payload is still pretty close, but needs to roll a couple more inches than it did before. Ball goes up. Big game was good. Priz continues to find the shots. My goodness gracious.
Efficient in the way that BOORK needs him most. Zenith now kind of out of the Ice Mines thing. Not really showing as much coordination as I think they would have hoped here on the day. Here's that earlier pickup of Ozone, which is pretty simple. And here's where he starts helping down that back line, and this is what happens. He has Toa, throws, actually clips the ledge again, so unlucky.
He just glides off to glory.
Yeah, I thought maybe he threw him down and had enough. Diggy Dog swearing by that Resilience 1 as to that how he kind of stayed on as Ashe on that Khan overpower play, using the shoulder bash to drop down immediately after the commander's grab, using the Assert Dominance with enough distance to actually get back on the map. So it does do wonders for you.
Froggy needs to be careful here, getting almost burned down by the Dragon, but my goodness, takes a seat all on its own. Quickly thereafter, flying Hawaiian up over here on the jump jets. First kill does go to BOORK regardless.
Looks cool. Frog misses both of those shots wildly, but I like the attempt at hitting a floating Leon as she travels up and slides in about 0.1 seconds. That one, though, makes up for it. He hits her mid-air as she's falling down. And now BOORK looking at 3-0. A nice Ice Storm here to maybe isolate the Dampa, maybe Toa.
AB, they've got options. Overpower coming back up as well. That might be what Longshot's floating over here, looking for Cert Dominance up and out of it, and right on out. The answer there is perfect.
He got a shot off in the water. There must be what's going on
I did notice
there?
that.
What's going on?
I think he hit like the
There's
wall, like the invisible wall that map ends, and he just bounced there, backboarded for a little bit, and then fell.
That might be it. This map.
So much more dramatic that way.
It is. One last-ditch effort, you know, one dagger, one glob of spit, one shot from the revolver to clean it up.
Idris Elba would have hit it.
He would have. There's no doubt.
I still need to
about
watch that movie, even though you said it was meh.
Yeah, I know. It was mad.
But
well, it's because I thought you're talking about the one in the
Dark Tower or something like that?
Because the book is, you know,
Nuts?
well, not nuts. Book's kind of interesting too. But it's an experience.
It's all kind of trash, but I mean, he hits his shots. So
He hits
like,
his shots, good.
I respect it.
I think it's just interesting. Definitely good to watch, though. Idris Elba is pretty cool to watch in anything, I think. But yeah, his it's not his Dark Materials, which does look really good coming out on HBO. I read that when I was a kid. It's very excited
Oh, that's
about
a book
that.
too?
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
that
yeah.
about? Do you know what that's like?
It's like a world where you kind of have, it's like, you know, a version of like you've got a pet, like Pokemon kind of thing, but it's not Pokemon.
I thought it was like a kind of like a weird title. Like I didn't know what to pull from that.
Because it's called, I think the first one's called The Golden Compass, right? It's Dark Materials. It's a trilogy, and it's actually very good. I think I've read all three, but it was much younger, so seeing that brought to life will be very fun. As man, BOORK looking to bring their dreams to life. It was a slow start, Nick, but they have really made nice work of Team Zenith here.
Yeah, once they get off a map that is working
make it?
against them, precision grab, that overpower. Not staying alive this time. BOORK slam it home, looking very, very dominant. They're starting to pull away with this set.
And I think this is one where you can expect a game 4 to go the way of BOORK unless drastic changes from Zenith. The Shaolin, it was a good ban. It really did kind of shut down what Playtech was able to do in that round.
Frog is looking really, really comfortable on EV, so maybe if we're slinging personal stones, personal bans here, that might be taking us to the next game.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's see what the desk thinks as we head down to them to get ready for maybe our last game.
I agree with you guys. I think that you have to look at the Frog EV. I think that BOORK are firing on all cylinders right now, and there needs to be a drastic flip because the last two games, have gone so heavily in favor of BOORK, and they show no signs of stopping at the moment. Some good damage comes back. Toa had 60K, Playtech with 48,000, but then you look 64K. 10-2, Longshot 7-2, Frog 7-3. Just too much offensive power on the side of BOORK, and it really shone through in this one.
I'll be honest, it feels possible to control this entire BOORK roster, but I think it very much is a 100% picks and bans thing. Like, you have to win in the draft right now if you're Zenith against them. And honestly, even against some of these other teams, like, they're getting mechanically better every single week.
Absolutely.
And that, I think, again, goes to show how crucial that last fight for Zenith was on Ice Mines. The fact that Playtech played at the level he was able to hit made the biggest difference, because I think you worded it the best last desk before this map, which was very simply, it was stolen away. And that is the best word for it, is that was not necessarily a Zenith win Ice Mines. That is a Zenith barely stopped BOORK from winning Ice Mines.
That's
and
true.
It happened at 93% on the last point fight, and it just happens to be a good map that zones for itself. So we're going to have to see how they can change it up for Stonekeep.
I mean, moments away from a 3-0. It's 4-3 that goes in favor of Zenith, but then the next two, 4-1, 4-0.
Yeah.
BOORK really kicking it into high gear over these last two maps, and if map number 1 had just leaned a little bit more in their favor, this one would have been finished there on Warder's Gate, but that's not going to be the case. We're going to have Stonekeep on the board for us. BOORK banning Shaolin for the second time in a row here, forcing, I guess, Playtech onto that Leon. He didn't have a bad game on Leon by any means in the last game, but definitely not as impactful as his Shaolin had been. So I don't mind that target ban on the side of BOORK. Eevee, of course, you kind of called for it. Eevee, or I guess
Nick did.
Nick called for it. Eevee getting banned out here from Frog. Atlas Khan, 1-2 off the board here. Neither team showing too much, but now BOORK or Zenith, actually. They have their second pick. They're going to get Amani, so BOORK open to the Genos if that's where they want to go with it.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they do. I mean, this is going to be probably a frontline plus Genos. That's what we had seen a little earlier in the set. Or maybe they'll go for the Leon. Actually, I don't mind this call overall just because with Eevee gone, with Shaolin gone, you're starting to push down the barrel of certain picks.
Yeah.
So if you have to trade that out, like, there's no important frontlines. Like, if Khan was still available, I think Leon gets traded out for the Khan there. But it's like, cool, well, I mean, Anara or Barrack, which one are we gonna? Which one do we want? Do we care? No? Okay, cool. Let them have whatever. Like, they can choose whatever they want. We'll just grab whatever's left and see where it comes. And the big important thing to remember right now, Cassie available still for BOORK if they want to go for it. Zenith can't.
And remember as well, we're going to Stone Keep now for the third time today.
Yeah,
Our two previous times we've seen Kinessa already Leon on the side of BOORK, so maybe won't double up on the Kinessa, but they get Barrack. Very much still open here. Bomb King is going to go over to Frog. He played Bomb King game number 1 very well, I might add, on Ice Mines, despite it not going their way. Zenith, though, they are going to steal away the Kinessa as I mention it. How do you feel? We've seen it now 3 times. How do you like Kinessa on Stone Keep?
I like it when it's 10th pick in this exact spot because when you look at BOORK, who's going to go get her, right? Like, who's getting back there to deal with her? And I think that's where her strength lies, right? She's got such a long range that you have to have someone who's going back to shut her down specifically. And Leon's not going to get back there consistently. Bomb King's not going to get back there consistently. Atlas might be able to, but I don't think he's going to have enough damage to 1v1 her without someone getting called over to help.
Well, BOORK have their win condition. Zenith have their win condition as well. And what we have is a game 4. Zenith need to turn things around if they want to force a game 5. Casters, take it away.
Where?
But you... Why don't they ever keep it? I don't want to be a thief. I'm always taking it away. People always giving it to me.
I'm not your butler, Dave.
I'm not your butler, buddy. Throw away
So it begins.
your own
Taking
trash.
things away.
I'm not that kind of guy. I don't like being painted that way.
Dave just comes walking by, hearing none of this. He'll watch the VOD.
He'll watch the VOD. You think Dave will watch this moment of the VOD? I have my doubts. But I think leave it to Dave to be a good boy and impress me when I don't think it's possible.
Let's see. We're watching.
We're watching, and we're watching Dave. And we're watching BOORK. Hit some nice headshots there with long shot.
New kids on the cast. New kids on the minor league grind.
There you go. Dave is on that minor league grind. Not quite like you as the PML correspondent, Nick.
Yes, nobody is.
And as the PML correspondent, how do you feel about this?
Nobody dare step to me.
What's going on in this moment?
Chat, look me in the eye.
Expert.
I'm the correspondent now.
I'm the correspondent now. Oh, man. 1,035 a pop, Frog, and that Genos BK. It seems like they got a pretty nice lineup. Frog off the Eevee, though, less mobility. The Kinessa, it's been such a strong theme today on Stone Keep. Every single time we've gone here, we've seen a Kinessa.
Yep, and our CD's rotating, but running out of time. King Bomb's already charged. A couple other ultimates only at 50%, including Amani, who tends to be pretty quick. I like this reposition from Frog. I think he needs to just hard to commit to this. Zanara needs to remove her from the objective. Hit your shots! Get on!
The one champion you would guarantee to hit every shot at that range is Bomb King, and somehow... I mean, he just needed to explode it a little earlier.
That's why you run Royal Subjects.
Yeah, you just need to explode
You don't look left. You don't look right. You throw it in the middle and blow it up.
Exactly.
And get some damage.
He missed every shot. What?
Head.
That is unlucky. And you know what? Under pressure, indeed. I think that was why he repositioned that way. But have the King Bomb as well. I mean, if you're going to go that hard, I think you Poppy Bomb into a King Bomb and just seal the deal right there.
If you're going to go, you got to go.
Obviously, not the way that he wanted it to go. And will this be Zenith turning it around? I mean, obviously, we see Playtech adding another champion to the lineup here, which is Kinessa. This is a bad angle, and Toa lets him know. Long shot goes down, and now Playtech has this upper bridge.
That's a great place to be as well. I think we see Kinessa in every single Stone Keep game today. Very, very aggressive play from Priz. Healer assassination, 1-for-1. Talk about that defender's advantage. Nice catch there.
Cool.
Frostbomb won't go through the stasis field.
Ooh, and Longshot almost predicted where he was going to go. And this second chance gets him to about 70% health. It's enough for sure to take down Toa, especially since he has a setback, but he's just going to back off. Indeed. Exile on the ready for the Atlas. He's just going to look for some headshots here. Almost hits that one. And Ozone realizes, oh, might be in trouble, and that's where it can actually hurt you. Set back the wrong person.
He's helping. Here comes the Dragon, though. This is going to be tough. Stasis field can tank for a little bit.
That's good.
And second chance. Dragon's down. Gotta stay focused here. I like this. I like this Exile a lot.
Went on to an... Wow, wasted 2. Not what you want. Longshot feeling the pressure for sure. But luckily, he's going to have maybe some time in base to think about how he could have played that a little better. It seems like Zenith's going to 2-0 and in under 4 minutes of play.
Well, some definite things to improve on there. Frog 1-4 through the first round. Not great. 6-0 on the other hand for Nini is great. He stayed alive on the objective almost the entire time.
Yep.
And fragged all the live long day away. Now, the scary part is that wasn't even like this huge round from Playtech on Kinessa. So if he starts to hit the ground running here, he's just honestly below the middle of the pack in damage. With nobody really contesting him, he definitely has room to improve as well.
And I think you're in an interesting spot because Nini should not be 10-0, and we saw the play that should have stopped that from happening.
Caught 3 on an R after 1 round.
However, Longshot, Frog, shouldn't really be 1-4 either. Definitely underperformed. Aspect takes down Playtech just like that. Things shifted a bit because it's comeback mechanic. It looks like the way these teams have played, I'm not sure they're going to be able to hold that thought. Retake. They do find Frog, so giving themselves a glimmer of hope. Only 50% captured yet.
Toa's answering back now.
Wow.
Big way. Karate chopper, his way to victory.
And he definitely is showing the unique hand chopping motions of which to throw the ice so that it splits. Again, a strong skill. Wish they taught this to kids like piano, but at the end of the day, it's even rare to find, and not in your common education system, that's for sure.
Ooh, just barely dances out of the frost bomb. Grumpy bomb down to the objective. Priz answers back onto the healer.
Oh boy.
Frog is not a great spot here. No. A couple more shots. He will go down.
Toa is really just making things easy as well. He's on a 12 streak. You got to talk about his impact. It's been very, very hard to shut that down. And I've seen a lot of Longshot trying to go for these long flanks, not quite what they need. And the backline dive, it just isn't there. The Eevee would have been the key, but there's just too much Playtech line of sight blocking with his threat of damage. And BOORK aren't able to play around it.
You can see Priz starting to just put more sauce on it with every passing minute. He realizes this game has got to be taken over by somebody. He's just diving people at this point.
Why not?
Taking the game over. Priz wants to keep his boys in it. He's doing everything in his power to do so.
And Longshot as well. So many juicy low targets as an Atlas. This should be easy cleanup. And he's got Genos as well. That's the thing we're looking at. This is Luminary Bomb King, Luminary Atlas, Luminary Genos.
Yeah.
You gotta perform higher than this. It's not your picks, that's for sure. As far as that, what the big pick issue is, you do not have backline dive onto a sniper. That's the key.
Dread Serpent will hit Atlas, but he's kind of safely behind his stasis field there. Goes for the second chance, not getting enough healing to make it out of this cathedral. But Priz, again, diving Kinessa. Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
And he's just handling his business.
And Toa just, bullying Longshot on the Atlas. Amani getting the better end of it. Frog, I think maybe a little unconfident after that first moment where, kind of was clearly not on the right pacing. And BK is a different pacing, especially coming from the Eevee. It's a little bit more slow, more concerted. And where Eevee, you have a lot of ability to kind of spam and just whatever. And, you hit the two that matter, and it's kind of over, you're in and out. You really do have to measure some of these bombs to get effective damage.
30 seconds remaining.
Yep. I don't know. I think Khan's a good enough matchup for Bomb King. You just go up over the shield and go toe-to-toe with just about anybody.
That helped him, I think.
Set him back a little bit, overpower quickly. May or may not have been worth it at that point. He is so low. But no use crying over spilt milk here. Stasis Field goes out, protecting the Imani as she pilots the dragon. Well done, Ozone.
Wow. It feels like we're seeing a bit of an oddity here. Big collapse from BOORK. Overtime taken away. Can they defend? Buy themselves a little more time. Toa's been playing well. Hiding behind this choke. Frog is back. Toa missing some crucial shots here. It could have been big damage, and now he's got the pressure. Frog going to clean it up. Triple kill. That's what they were hoping for. Luminary Bomb King's got to get the job done. That's part of it, you know. Luminary Torvald and Bomb King, you got to see BK show up. Just barely getting some action there.
Yep. As long as Priz can stay as hot as he has been, I really do think anything out of Frog more at this point would be good.
Good enough.
Barrack Atlas can be tough. I will say you are opening yourself up to get bullied around a little bit. I like Khan as the aggro front line a bit more, but I think, you know, Atlas doesn't need to go off and hyper carry the game. I think as long as he provides control and just like safety for Bomb King in a little space, then Luminary Bomb King needs to be the guy to step up there. 7-7 coming back into it. Long shot 3-6 on the Atlas. They need to work together, and I think they'll be a very, very deadly duo.
Let's see how they approach this here. You could throw up the shield. Stable Fisher could come up for the movement speed, and there it is. And the Bomb King's going to go into the back line. He'll get there. Well, wow. Wow. Thought that was an easy kill on Toa, who was in the back line there and low. Not utilized. Long shot with the second chance, but isolated now. Toa and Ozone finding 2 kills. All right.
Yeah, I think the wall went up there. He went to the balcony.
Might have been.
No options there. Another team fight. Tilting the way of Zenith, but Priz again plants his feet, digs in the heels, and brings this one back in favor of BOORK.
Oh, man.
Doesn't quite get the killing blow with the ultimate, but he will be able to stay alive. Frog dead again. Little Prizzy making sure that he keeps it in there. The story's just been the same.
Yeah,
he is
wow.
on point. Priz is carrying this game.
And Playtech definitely making it hard on Frog to do what he wants to do as the BK in this map. Toa
Don't
looking
peek
for that last
slide
shot. Waiting, and Jostle's going to go down by long shot. Big, big kill from the Atlas. That's the healer gone. And now they've kind of got to commit here, don't they? Imani with the Dragon out. And do they have enough Bulldozer? Yes, they do. See you later, Dragon.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Priz stays alive in that critical, just weaving behind that tree. Dodging one Imani attack after another was enough. Transporter onto the objective. It's a long shot, but Playtech is not able to get her done.
Wow, so Priz single-handedly, with the help of his teammates, but really taking the lion's way.
Vayne and Aspect are doing their thing.
Yeah, the lion's share.
They're trying. It's getting it done under the radar, but as far as the guys that are out there trying to frag Longshot Frog and Priz is definitely pulling the lion's share of the weight.
Yeah, and that's what needs to maybe shift a little bit, and you can't blame it. Khan, Ozone, Ozone, a DPS player for much of his time, and knows his way around a lot of these champions, and Khan, a great combo of that. Ability to be offensive. That's why we've seen Diggy, it's I've seen Bonker. These players just do so phenomenally well on it. He's hitting a lot of headshots. But Priz, Vayne, they combine to clean him up.
Big shots here from Atlas, and not confident enough to push that one all the way down. Playtech clearly doesn't have Transporter here. They're trying to peel for him. Nice second shot.
Are you kidding?
Set back through the wall, trying to play with this little
Just go, what are you doing?
hair split. Longshot lost track of him.
But what is he scared of? It's just he knows
I don't
the
know.
health. Because it's just a Kinessa. There's not a Khan hiding in there, unless that's what he thought.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that one I think you can hit the gas pedal on because you know what you're running into. At this point, though, Priz, he's just saying all the conversations you're starting, I'm finishing. And that's my task. That's my goal. And he is absolutely doing justice to this team and the pressure they have created throughout this set.
Stasis Field goes out deep. Give Frog some room to work. Frostbomb avoided. A lot of ultimates here for BOORK, but they cannot win the game here. So I don't know how aggressive they're going to look to good. They don't want to overexhaust themselves for a 3-3 point fight.
That Grumpy Bomb doesn't really do much. but it does buy maybe that halfway through the door that they were hoping for. And this is where I think you're feeling pretty good. You know Toa's low.
Nice.
And there you go. And now you have a setback. You take another 1v1. No, he hit that shot. Now long shot. Looking to find Ozone again. Ozone, though, is going to drop as he's running from long shot and get a kill on a frog.
Backing up into trouble, getting a lot of healing from Maldamba, running a little bit of that Hope Guard, trying to keep him on his feet.
Man,
This is a lot of time bought, and Ozone makes it out of that alive.
unbelievable. Feels like he has every reason to die and somehow finds a kill and stays alive. And onto the main DPS for that matter in the blaster roll. Good frost bomb. Toa, got to give him commitment.
Wow.
He's been playing very, very well on the Imani in this game. Real pain.
Certainly has. Certainly has, indeed. 7-7, moving to 9-12, so a 2-5 round. For Froggy Boy, he's got to be better. His teammates have certainly kept him alive in here. I've still got faith in the Luminary King. It's one of those combos that just doesn't really fall off. Wow. Later on into the game, I don't think anybody is really picking up a ton of damage reduction on the side of Zenith. People still focused on their core at this moment in time, and even Playtech and Toa have both decided to go to try and mitigate that Bomb King damage.
Well, here's the question. How aggressive do you get? Obviously, Playtech has been holding line of sight well. Do you try to play around it? Do you try to send a few men extra over to that side? Playtech actually kind of trying to just stay on this left side. Is he going to take the flank? He is. Oh my goodness. Now this is a dangerous and very interesting spot. He's now corralled them, but he is in their base. Can anyone get there fast enough? Can anyone realize it? Second chance might just have been all they need. The jig is up. They know where he is. And who's going to make the move?
Well, they're getting a lot of time in a 4v5 fight because Playtech is just not a part of this. It's been 45%. I don't understand what's taking BOORK so long to go on this 4v5. They're dragging their feet, and they've given up half the objective.
There was a lot of things that weren't understood in that moment. Toa, though, going to find the big kill. And it will be Priz using the Enlightenment as well, so not getting value on that ult. Toa now looking to try and snowball this for his team. Finish off the finish off the game. Nice setback here. Ozone, he's going to find Vayne. We are looking at another best of 5, ladies and gentlemen, going the distance. Priz can't outplay that one. Jostles with about an inch of health is an inch more than he needs. 4-2 will end the game.
Quietly into that good night, and again, for me, it's as simple as they had 20 seconds in a 4v5, and they just didn't do anything with it. They let a capture go for free with a man advantage, 50% before they made a move. It's no excuse for that.
And also, Playtech makes a flank that is relatively unsuccessful. I mean, the opportunity he has to kill, uses the ultimate, and a second chance gets them all out, and then nothing really happened. So this wasn't, I think, a great display of play. A lot of mistakes made on both sides, but it does end up being Zenith coming out on top. They did play better over the course of this match, that's for sure. Let's send it back to the desk. Get ready for Game 5.
Zenith score more points, and that's what you got to do to win the game, and they did exactly that here on Stonekeep. They won 4-2 over BOORK, forcing, well, now a 2-2 as far as the series goes. And yeah, I have to hand it to Zenith. They definitely improved from what we saw. 4-1, 4-0 into a 4-2. It was sort of sloppy back and forth, but they definitely made some improvements from Game 2, Game 3, into Game 4.
And it very much is those moments of how do we control BOORK? And I think a lot of controlling BOORK isn't in-game. A lot of it is pre-game. Kind of get them on something not even uncomfortable. I mean, obviously, 143,000 damage from Priz looks really, really good. Everybody on BOORK look really good damage-wise, but it does come down to where are those kills falling, right? Numbers, the damage numbers specifically, can get skewed a lot, especially when you have, like, I want to say a little bit more of a drawn-out game, but 19 and 12 versus the 4-6, the 3-5, the 7-8, the 9-14. Like, everybody else is negative on the side of BOORK. And so Priz was kind of the odd man out there, whereas Toa, significantly less damage overall, more kills converted.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And a nod over to Inara, as well. 342 objective time. I mean, that's the real difference maker here.
Yeah, that also helps.
More than I couldn't quite do the math off the top of my head, but more than the rest of BOORK essentially combined in this case. So Nini having a good game on Anar up to this point. Of course, the rest of his team playing around him very, very well. But the 4-2 goes that way largely, and I guess that that incorporates payload, push time, things like that. So there's lots of stuff that goes into it. But big numbers from Nini in this case as far as objective time goes. Toa, of course, having a great game here in this one, but Zenith looking a lot better here in game number 4. And I think that's something to kind of hang your hat on. Moving down the stretch, they just make some improvements. They look a lot better moving forward, and I think that's really important to look at.
Yeah, Zenith is in that position, and this is where it is. Like, BOORK has spent weeks slowly, like, I mean, after you cut the turmoil, you get to where this roster is, it's how do we get better?
Yeah.
Right now, I think it's just, if Priz can have the Leon performance on a few more champions, then all of a sudden that comes great.
Yep.
If Frog can have the EV performance on way more champions, the Bomb King performance on more champions,
Right.
then they become a much different beast to tackle.
No, definitely. I absolutely agree. Looking better down the stretch here. We are going to take a quick break. We're going to finish out this set right on the other side, so stick around.